now it is time to take a step back from careers, from successes, challenges of the world, and think a little bit more on the health front. So, women have been juggling various roles, they've been donning many hats, and they have surely aced the art of multitasking. But all of this has somewhere impacted their health as they become more prone to anxiety, stress, bone diseases, hormonal imbalances, and weight issues. So, for women to reach their ultimate potential in their diverse roles, an unusual amount of physical strength, mental strength, and emotional fortitude is required. So, physical well being is the prime thing here. If you're physically not well, everything else will also go for a toss. So, a healthy lifestyle, physical well being are very important to breeze through the numerous challenges that come through the natural transitions that happen in a woman's life. So, today we have with us Dr. Shubhramita Panda, who will help us decode the key to well being through various stages of a woman's health, and she will throw some light on chronic lifestyle related diseases. How can we avoid them, and how can we, or why should we as women strive for self care before entering the responsibilities of a caregiver? Dr. Shubhramita is a renowned homeopath. She's been practicing for the last 20 years, and she has successfully found cures and treated patients for type 1 diabetes, for thyroid issues, for insulin disorders, etc., without having any side effects. Right? She has worked as a physician at the famous Baxon's Chain of Allergy Center, and she was a lecturer at the Institute of Homeopathy Medical Education and Research in Chandigarh. She has also authored a book called No Homeopathy, No Health, and her advisory contributions have been well recognized in national level magazines like Homeo Heritage, Homeo Buzz, Star Teller, etc. Besides her usual work of consulting patients, she's been actively conducting health camps in various schools, colleges, orphanages, and has delivered talks on various health issues at prestigious institutions. She firmly believes in post consultation patient follow up and aligns her work to this need of the hour in the healthcare sector now. So, let us all welcome Dr. Shubhramita Panda. Uh, Welcome on board, Dr. Shubhramita. You've been made the co-host now, so you can unmute yourself. Welcome, and thank you for taking out time for JKO.
Thank you, Ms. Rachna. Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon, 7 past 12. Good afternoon to you all. Wishing you all a very happy Women's Day. And let us start our discussion with the divine blessings of respected Swamiji, the second most important spiritual mentor of my life, first being my mother, because of whom I came in contact with the respected Swamiji around 28 years back. So today we have a question in front of us. What is the value of life? In order to find the answer to this question, Dr. Harry Monson, a professor of anatomy from the Illinois Medical College, few decades ago conducted an interesting experiment. He made a list of all the chemical components present inside the human body other than water. He found a person in an average weighing around 60 kgs contains calcium 4.6 kgs, phosphates 1.4 kgs, potassium 0.05 kgs, sulfur little more than 0.4 kgs, sodium little more than 0.4 kgs, magnesium little more than 28 grams, iron little more than 30 grams, copper little less than 30 grams, and iodine also little less than 30 grams. He calculated the prices of all these chemical components and he listed out the total to be 1,300 rupees as of today's rate. So this 1,300 rupees, is it the value of life? Before I take your answer, just think for a while. Say there is a driver who is driving a car. Unfortunately, he met with an accident and the car got damaged. The car damaged condition is lying on the one side of the road, while the driver is injured and he is lying on the right side of the other side of the road. You are being asked, to whom should you go and rescue first? Remember, as per the Monson's analysis, the price of the value of life, he has calculated 1,300, while that of the car, as you know, say for example, 6.5 lakhs. So you should go to rescue the car first? No, never. You say, doctor, what you're saying, life is more precious. First, we should run to rescue the driver. So life is precious. Now question comes, besides these chemical composition, what is the extra component that life is having which makes it so valuable? I'm sure you all are knowing the answer. That is the presence of the soul. As per our Vedic literature teaches, the presence of Atma or soul, which makes the life so much valuable, priceless, isn't it? Now we understand that life is precious, yes. Further, to clarify more, when you talk about a woman's life, it is even more and more precious. Why? Because woman on this earth has got the only unique ability to give birth to a new life. Only a woman can bring another new human being to this earth. God has given that capability to a woman. In other words, the ability to reproduce lies only with the woman. That is why woman is the unique creature, you can say, on the earth. In order to make herself capable to reproduce, the anatomical structure of a woman has multiple hormones inside that, which we say there is a hormonal system inside the woman, which is more and more complex than that of a man. Due to this complexity of the hormonal system, a woman during her one lifespan undergoes 4 times change of life. 4 times changes of life. How come? Yes, time of puberty, time of pregnancy, time of post-childbirth, and fourthly, the menopause. These are the milestones in a woman's life when a woman undergoes the major hormonal change. And these are the time periods when a woman is liable to get affected by various diseases. Diseases can be physiological, can be psychological too. So we will talk more about those common diseases, how to take care of that, how to recognize those symptoms, what is the best way to address those issues. But before that, as we just heard, life is very precious, women's life is more precious. So one important task is attached with this preciousness. If we know that, yes, we have something got very precious, then what is the task attached with that? We have to take care of that precious thing very well. Similarly, we have to take care of the health of a woman. In an Indian structure of society, particularly if we talk about the middle class family structure, the woman's health care has got least consideration. A woman is always being made responsible for the household works, for the upbringing of the children, but at the same time, the woman should be given proper health care. Otherwise, those responsibilities that the woman is shouldering may get compromised. We have a very casual attitude towards ourselves. Yes, I have to prepare my son for the school on time. I have to prepare the food for my family on time. I have to serve them the tasty foods and healthy food on time. I have to take care of everything. But what about me, myself? Should I keep some time for myself? Does my body also demand some rest? Does my mind also need some stimulation? If I neglect myself, then what is going to happen? I'll quote a very small example here. Actually, this example I have heard from respected Swamiji around 28 years back when initially I was getting associated with him. I was just in the college first year, and that example, even though I have heard hundreds of examples from him, but this example has just put a deep impression in mind. And as I grow older and older, I find more and more useful that example is. What's that? In New Delhi, India, there is a big ground called Ram Leela Maidan. Most of you have heard. In that Ram Leela Maidan, every year during Dashera, the epic of Ramayana used to get played. The dance drama that will be played, and it will be for 7 days it will go. And a huge audience viewers will be there. One year, what happened? The producer, he did not pay properly to the man who was playing the role of Ravan. Ravan was very angry. He said, wait, my time will come, then I'll see you, Mr. Producer. So out of these 7 days, one day was the day for Sita Swayamvar. Marriage of Princess Sita was going to happen. So every year what used to happen, there will be the Janak's court and the Shiv Dhanush, the bow of Lord Shiva, will be kept, and all kings one by one they will come and they will try their hand and they will fail and go back. And then Ravan will come and he will also proceed towards the Shiv Dhanus. But in the meantime, there will be the royal ambassador coming from his country, Lanka, will stop him, saying that, no king, please do not proceed. Some emergency has come in our country. It's highly essential that please you go back to our country and leave this place. And Ravan used to leave the court of King Janak. But this year, Ravan has made up his mind. When it was his time to stand up and move towards the Shiv Dhanush, the royal ambassador came and said, "O king, please do not proceed further because it's high time to go back to our country. There is some emergency." Ravan said, "What emergency? Forget about that country of Lanka. Today I have decided that I will break this Shiv Dhanus and I will marry this Princess Sita and I will come to Lanka only having her as my queen." The entire audience was stunned. The director was speechless. The producer was half conscious. They all came running and told, put the screen down. What is this happening? It's some new type of Ramayana going to be played. Then screen was put down and the producer called the person who was playing the role of Ravan. What happened, brother? What is the problem? What is this you doing? You know how much I have invested in this? Then Ravan says, you forgot how much money you had to pay to me and why that account is not yet settled. Producer said, oh, my father, please forgive me. Please take the amount now itself and settle the things. If you want extra also, I don't mind paying you. But please make sure the show runs smoothly. The point is, the internal setup has to be first made perfect. Then only the external shows will run smoothly. The social life, the occupational life, the family life, everything will run smoothly only when our personal life is running well. If there is a turbulence in the personal life, that will reflect in all these external shows. So, it is very important that we must care for our own health first. If we are sick, then all our responsibility will get compromised. So what kind of responsibility we have got towards ourselves, how to take care of it? Particularly, as I told you, a woman undergoes 4 times the change of life. So those are the times when we are liable to get affected by various diseases. What kind of diseases? For example, polycystic ovarian disease. It is seen that 1 in every 4 Indian women suffer from this. Uterine fibroid. 38% of the rural women and 25% of the urban women suffer from this in India. Hypothyroidism. 14% of the Indian men and 8% of Indian women suffer from hypothyroidism. These diseases, all these whatever I named, are because of single cause, that is hormonal imbalance. If we can address the glandular system, that is the hormonal system of the body, then we can address all these issues. Now the question comes, what is the right way of addressing these issues? Number 1 condition is the medicine what we are going to take, it should not be a lifelong medication. Medicines are not the fruits or vegetables that every day, along with our breakfast, lunch, dinner, we keep on consuming. The medicine should be taken only for a limited period of time. We see the thyroid patients, they come and they say, I'm taking thyroxine, I'm taking Thyronorm for the last 10 years, 15 years. So we ask, since so many years you are under this thyroid medication, every day morning in empty stomach, you are popping up the pills. Do you ever care to look back and analyze what good these synthetic hormonal pills have done to you? You know why the thyroid happens? Say, for example, when we check our blood, we find the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, is less, higher, then we say it is a hypothyroid problem. If it is less, then we say hyperthyroidism problem. Now, why the thyroid have become abnormal? Thyroid hormone is being secreted by a gland called thyroid gland, which is present in our neck, the front portion of our neck. This thyroid gland secretes the thyroid hormone when when it gets stimulated by another gland in our brain called anterior pituitary gland, which is a part of our forebrain. That anterior pituitary again is being stimulated by another gland in the hindbrain called hypothalamus. When hypothalamus will stimulate anterior pituitary, that will again stimulate the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland will secrete thyroid hormone, and when we check the blood, we find the levels of thyroid in our blood. Now, this hypothalamus of the hindbrain, this is responsible for the release of stress hormones also. If we have an abnormal stress response in our mind, then the hypothalamus will work abnormally. That will abnormally stimulate the anterior pituitary, which will in turn again abnormally stimulate the thyroid gland, which will synthesize abnormal quantity of thyroid hormone. Hence, we find in our blood the thyroid hormone is abnormal. Now, if we take the androxythyronine like synthetic hormonal pills of thyroid hormone, what happens? It is a supplement to the blood only. I repeat, it is a supplement to the blood only. It is never ever going to rectify your thyroid gland because it is not at all going to touch your thyroid gland. Its work finishes in supplying to the blood. We have a vitamin deficiency, we take the vitamin, yes, we feel energetic for 24 hours. Again, tomorrow we take another pill, we feel energetic. Does it mean that the body has started synthesizing the hormone or synthesizing the vitamin? No. That is why in allopathic system of therapy, when we take thyroid, we have to keep on taking it as a supplement. So it is a lifelong treatment in allopathic. Second is, it has side effects. When we take synthetic hormonal pills, it affects the calcium metabolism of our body. So usually, the women who are taking thyroid hormones, the doctor will prescribe the calcium tablets also along with that. This is another disadvantage. Then what is the right way of treatment? In homeopathy, we have got a wonderful scope. First thing is, homeopathy medicines are the ultra diluted medicines, because of which it has no side effect. Number two, in homeopathy, we do not have to take lifelong medication. Why? Because in homeopathy, we are capable to stimulate the thyroid gland again so that the normal secretion of thyroid hormone starts again. How we do that? We have a wonderful technique in that. Say there are 3 women suffering from thyroid. We will not prescribe the same medicine like Aldroxin you all of you 3 take. We will prescribe different medicines. Why? Because each woman suffering from thyroid will have different manifestation. First woman says, along with my thyroid abnormality, I have got hair fall. Second woman says, along with my thyroid abnormality, I got puffiness of the face, bloating of the face. Another woman says, along with the thyroid, I catch cold easily. So these are the different manifestations we have got along with the thyroid abnormality. In homeopathy, we have different medicines accordingly to prescribe. And by following that, when we administer the medicines, we find 6 months to 2 years time it takes to get a complete recovery of the thyroid. This is how we treat the common ailment of thyroid abnormality with the various different medicines. Why only thyroid? The other things, whatever I have named, your ovarian cyst you take, your uterine fibroid you take, everything we follow the same approach. What is the pattern of manifestation of your symptom? And accordingly we prescribe, and that gives success. This is when the disease has been diagnosed, we have to get it treated by the therapy, medications. But if the disease has not yet started, how can we prevent it? Three suggestions I can give you here. in order to prevent the various hormonal ailments? Number one, walking for 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week, is advisable. Which shoes you must go for walking? Secondly, the intake of fresh fruits around 300 to 400 grams in a day. The fruit intake should be from morning to 12 noon. That is the time duration when the body is in the excretory phase, and post noon it goes to the healing stage. So in the morning hours, we should have the fruits. Thirdly, take care of the oil. What kind of oil you are using? So many brands are there, so many types are there. If you ask about the best brand or best type of oil, I would suggest that the virgin coconut oil should be used for cooking too. So if these 3 points we keep in our mind, then up to a greater extent, we can avoid getting into the trouble of hormonal imbalance. This is what I told is about the physical ailments. The psychological ailments like premenstrual syndrome, mood swing, irritability, all these are because of the hormonal imbalance. In the first phase, 15 days of menstrual cycle, from first day to 15 days, the estrogen hormone goes up. And after 15 days, it comes down. Accordingly, the mood swing happens when it comes down. So behind, like the puppet show we see the puppets are dancing, but the reason is what? The reason is the person's fingers and hands which are holding the threads for catching the puppets and moving them accordingly. As he moves his fingers, accordingly the puppets move. Same way, as our hormones change, accordingly our mood sector also changes. So if you have mood swings, irritability, all those things, then instead of reacting to that, rather you analyze, is there any hormonal imbalance going on in the background? If it is so, let me analyze. We have investigation methods available, blood tests are available for the entire endocrine system. So various hormonal levels can be diagnosed from that. Accordingly, we can address this issue. So in short, I told you how to prevent and how to cure such problems. Now the final task is on you yourself. What is that? We have to remember all these things. We have to practically apply these things. We cannot say that I have to do cooking, I have to go for work and all, when to do doctor, all this. I will tell you a beautiful technique in short, how to do all these tasks step by step smoothly in just few seconds. In the year of 1984, in the Tokyo International Marathon race, Yamada, the Japanese athlete, unexpectedly won the world championship. The reporters came and asked, "What is the secret of your success?" He said, "I used my wisdom to defeat the opponent." Reporters were puzzled. Winning a race, it needs physical strength, endurance. How can you say you are using your wisdom? How it is corrected? Anyway, 2 years later, in the year of 1986, there was Italian marathon race. Again, same Yamada won the championship. Again, reporters puzzled and asked, "What is the secret of your success?" His reply was the same, "I use my wisdom to defeat the opponent." Again, reporters did not find the answer. 10 years later, in the year of 1996, his autobiography got published. There he revealed the secret. There Yamada said, "Before I start my race, I take the tour of the entire route that I have to travel in the race. Say I have to travel 40 kilometers. So I put a landmark after 10 kilometers, there is a red house. After 10 kilometers, there is a bank. After 10 kilometers, there is a post office. And then the final 10 kilometer is my final goal. So when I start running, I do not think that I have to run 40 kilometers. I think my target is only that the first 10 kilometers. So I try my best and try to reach first to that first target of the red house. Once I reach my first target, then I strive for the second, then I strive for the third, and finally I reach my final goal. Means what? When the goal is big, we should not see it as huge as it is. We should fix intermediate goals. Say we have a watermelon. If I tell you, please eat it today itself, you will be surprised. What, doctor? How can I eat? It's 3-4 kilos. No, do not get scared by seeing the size of the watermelon. I tell you the technique. You cut it into half. Again, you cut each into the half. So now you got 4 pieces. You take 1 piece along with your breakfast, 1 piece before your lunch, another piece along with your evening snacks. The final piece will be before your dinner. Finished. I could eat that entire watermelon in a day. Does it not sound good? Same thing that every woman who has a personal life, social life, family life, and occupational life can adopt this technique. Morning I wake up, till 8 o'clock my duty is to do the cooking, prepare breakfast. After 8 o'clock it's a time for me to get ready for my work. After 10 I am at my work focused. Back home in the afternoon I have to look after my household works, and evening I have to cook the dinner. So slowly, if we start adopting such techniques, then definitely life becomes smooth. And the most important point is, while doing all these tasks, then one most important thing, we should remain associated with some positive people. The people like respected Swamiji, who are full of positive energy. We should be associated with such people so that the positivity keeps coming to us from such great personalities. And that will keep us running faster and faster, more and more successful. I hope I have completed my service at this point of time. Once again, I thank you, Ms. Rachana and respected Swamiji. And if you have any question regarding health issues, please put it in the chat box. I will try to attend those.
Thank you.
Rachana, should I take the questions?
Yes, I can. I've noted a few of them. But I think just summarizing what you said and very aptly stated, that the inner workings have to be managed first for us to be successful in our external endeavor. So very, very relevant saying. And your illustrations of the Sita Swayamvar and how we are puppets in the hands of our hormones, how hormonal imbalance has different manifestations in our physical being. These were like superb learnings from your session. And the fact that we have to address the cause of these imbalances, which is only possible or happens, in alternative medicines. And pills are not food. Like pills have to be stopped. Medication cannot be a lifelong phenomena. That is something that all of us have to learn. You gave some very simple solutions. I just want to repeat so that if people who joined us late, or maybe you forgot to take notes, you can note it down right away. Dr. Shubhramita mentioned 3 major points. One is walking 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Intake of 300 grams of fresh fruits but the timing has to be morning till 12 noon, because that is when the body is in excreta phase and that's where it needs the most fiber. And last is being cautious of the oil we use. Virgin coconut oil is what Dr. Shubhamata has mentioned. So very simple and very, very practical solutions. Please keep them in mind and please keep them in your notes. So, Dr. Shubhamata, we have from the audience a question from Yashita Nagpal. It's a very practical problem that she's stating, and this is something that, this is a question from my life as well. She's asking, how do we make our parents, aging parents, to understand that they should take care of their health and well-being rather than depend on lifelong medication? So how is it that we educate our parents?
Well, before educating them, first we have to see what is our duty to them. So, first we should extend our service to them. This is the time parents should eat on time. This is the way how they should have their medicine. This is the time we should take care of the things. Daddy, this is the time you should eat. Daddy, this is the time you should go to rest. Okay, so as I remember in one of the interviews, the respected Swamiji was saying, love has got two aspects. One is the attachment and other is the care. And the second aspect is more and more beneficial. So we, instead of educating them, we should make them this way, that these are the things you have to do, and so take care of them. So once you start doing this, then I think automatically they will fall in that cycle. Yes, this is the thing time I have to do, this time this time this, and accordingly they will get convinced. But we cannot make them to sit in one place and teach them, and they as a student will take those teachings, because they have given birth to us, not the vice versa. So this is the way how we can make them convinced. We have to convince them.
Right, right. So thank you, Dr. Shubhamata. I think if we start taking the approach that you have mentioned, if we start implementing it in our own lives, then the inspiration will spread across, including to our parents as well. We have a query from Maya Paul. She's saying, I easily get cold and I'm unable to sit directly under the fan and under the AC also. So what is it that she can do? I think what she wants to know is how to build her immunity for these small things which kind of affect daily life.
Yeah, it seems to be a problem of sinusitis, I believe, for you. If you get along with that, the headache, heaviness of the head, or nasal blockage, then these are the symptoms of sinusitis, so which gets aggravated by least cold exposure. Okay, so this happens usually when your body vital heat is less. In order to build up that body vital heat, first thing required is you have to give very important to your food intake. You have to avoid having curd, buttermilk, citric fruits, the vegetables which are cold causing vegetables. Like the gourd varieties, that rich gourd, all those things, bottle gourd, all those things. So you try to avoid that. And in the morning, when the sun exposure is there, light sun exposure is there, you better, your skin should remain exposed to the sunlight for 30 minutes in the morning. So that will increase the vitamin D synthesis on your skin and will increase the calcium metabolism. Accordingly, the body heat also, by vital heat also you will get. So this is the one way of doing care. Second is you need medication. And in homeopathy, particularly if you ask, we have tremendous scope for sinusitis. 99% success you can expect by taking homeopathy treatment, and no side effect. Just few couple of months treatment will be enough. And treatment is also essential. That is 50% treatment and 50% is your precautions.
Great. So natural solutions and alternative medicine, treating a lot of a lot of these lifestyle related diseases. You emphasized on having sunlight every day, doctor. It's extremely important, and I think our ancestors had it, as part of their daily routine. Like they used to
Yes.
go work in the sun, so it was
Mhm.
never sort of a recommendation in their lives. But today, in our times, we don't really get out of the house so much, or
Yes.
we are in closed spaces.
Yes.
Sunlight is very, very important, right? We have Itishri Das and Pavitra Shetty who are asking about fibroid problems that occur in women. So, what is it that we can do to get over these problems once these problems have occurred? And maybe if you can, let women know what is it that they can do to avoid getting this problem.
Yes, very interesting. As I told you at the beginning, 38% of the rural women and 25% of the urban women in India suffers from uterine fibroid problem. And usually we find commonly in the perimenopausal and menopausal women. In that age it happens. And the cause of this is hormonal. If the hormonal imbalance is there, then what happens? During menstrual flow, the internal lining of the uterus called endometrium, which has to be cleaned totally, that doesn't happen. And slowly, when that remains, and finally you get the fibroid. And in allopathy, we have only the surgery. And if it is too big, then they advise for the hysterectomy, uterus removal, which is not at all advisable. Uterus is an essential organ and it has to be retained in the body. So surgery is not at all the solution. What you can do, medicine of course is required. You can visit to a nearby homeopathic doctor, classical homeopathy doctor, whoever if it is available, and get it treated. In homeopathy, we say around 6 months to 1 year time duration it takes, which makes the normal menstrual cycle to happen. If you have abnormal menstrual flow less than 2 days or more than 6 days, 7 days, then those are abnormal, and fibroid will be the cause for the profuse bleeding, etc. And it needs medication definitely. And in homeopathy, non-surgically, we can resolve these fibroids.
Wow. Um, that's very very valuable to know, doctor. I've had a lot of colleagues in office who've had similar problems, and the fact that we have homeopathy, which is a non-surgical procedure and can cure it within less than a year's time, that's very valuable information to know. If any one of you are in Chennai or you have relatives, friends in Chennai, you can meet Dr. Subramita in her clinic, Dr. Meeta's clinic. You can just Google it up and you will get her address, and you can meet her personally as well for all your problems. It's not feasible to do a consultation here in this event, so we're trying to address general queries as much as possible. So, Doctor, one last query for you from Kiran Sharma: how to improve hormonal balance after the age of 40? So I think,
Yes.
yeah, very relevant question. So when we are
Yes.
younger, we sort of don't, the symptoms don't show up, or we don't feel we're so energized and we're, all there with zeal, and we don't really care about these things. But as we age, I think, it's important to start understanding what your body is trying to tell you.
Yes. So first caution I will give you that when you know that you have hormonal imbalance, say you did the blood test, that is a must to know what are the levels of hormones you have. Without that, you cannot be firm on your diagnosis. So investigation is a must. So once you find the abnormal levels of hormones in your body, first caution is not to take the hormonal pills orally. Those are the synthetic hormonal pills. Those are only the supplementary drugs, which is not going to do the real cure of the problem. So instead of depending on that, you avoid such a therapy which can really synthesize and regular hormonal secretion in your body. For example, we have homeopathy or other alternative systems of the medicines are very much available. We can adopt that. That will help 50%. Another 50% is just I spoke about the 3 points to remain healthy, and the most important point which I spoke in the last is to remain associated with the positive people, so that the positivity will keep on coming to you, getting transferred from the higher authority to the lower authority, that will keep you energized. Practically, I have seen it is essential along with your medication and the physical things, whatever I advised about the fruit intake, all those things should be there.
Great. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor, for taking out time from your busy schedule and being with us and equipping us, all with all these valuable inputs on how we can navigate through our lives, through our external lives by taking care of ourselves. I think despite all the progress which women have done in the world, as women, I think we tend to sacrifice much more than our male counterparts, and in those sacrificial journeys, we tend to put our health at a backseat. So it was very, very much needed to listen to your advice on self-care and on nutrition and simple solutions that you have given us, which are practically implementable by all of us. So thank you once again for joining us today at JKO. And I'm hoping all of us, we have 90 plus audience, close to 100 now. All of us benefited by listening to your advice.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rachna, and thank you all. I'm thankful to all the viewers and for your patient hearing. I hope it remains helpful to you, whatever information I share. In case if you have doubt, you can be in contact with me. I'm very much available in the social media and YouTube also in my name. So you can have whatever questions ever you have regarding your health, feel free to ask me there also. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rachna.